This Week 5 Daily Fantasy Football edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is presented by MyBookie.ag. Right now, to honor football, MyBookie is offering up to $1,000 in free bets using the promo code SGP. That's right, $1,000 in bonus bets on your first deposit when you use the promo code SGP. Play, win, and get paid at MyBookie.ag. We're also brought to you by Amazon. Log on to sportsgamblingpodcast.com and click the Amazon banner. Bookmark that link and use it every time you shop to score sweet savings and support the podcast. Ooh, welcome, everyone, to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer dog?
Oh, boy. Well, on one hand, things are great. On the other hand, things are horrible. So we're gonna have a funeral this week, and we're gonna have more added to the shrine of Danny Dimes.
Danny Dimes, you're going all in, Kramer.
Well, I mean, did you see the way he shredded the Redskins for a half? Looking a lot like Carson Wentz, Sean, if you know what I mean.
Well, I did see the 2 interceptions he threw, the checkdowns that plagued the second half, the inability to put up 30 on that Redskins secondary at home. I saw it all, Ryan.
They held him to 3. How many did the Eagles give up? Okay.
Yeah, well, we're not talking. Okay. Is Danny Dimes playing
2
in the
and 2,
secondary?
bro. 2 and 2, bro.
2 and 2,
we're
indeed.
tied, so you can
all
shut
right.
your fucking mouth.
Hey, don't get chippy, all right? We're doing the DFS podcast.
It's been a while since both teams have had a legitimate chance here. So Sean, get the fuck out of
Ryan,
my way.
You're just you can't you
know what I'm
feel
like?
you were dead and you're back to life.
I'm like a 1-month hiatus and then hitting up the massage parlor. You know, clean up crew on aisle 5.
Oh man, where's Gus? Where's Gus Johnson when you need him? I was I had
Sean,
moved over.
Bumbling.
So we will be talking daily fantasy in just a minute. We have a special guest in studio, site editor for the Sports Gambling Podcast, Mr. Ryan McKee.
What's up, guys?
What's happening, man?
I think I need like Ryan Bloggy Boy McKee or something.
Yeah, you need some sort of
that sounds pretty badass.
hashtag
Bloggy
blog
Boy.
Boys. Yeah, Bloggy Boy.
Yeah,
Bloggy
that's
boy.
what the
I like
kids
that.
say.
We need that tout name.
Round Ball Ryan. That's a new nickname for you because
there you go.
Ryan McKee will be hosting and breaking down a basketball podcast for us, a gambling basketball podcast, if you can believe it, starting when the NBA season kicks off on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network feed. We're still coming up with a name, so if you have a name for the show,
help me name
still
this
spitball
show.
the name.
So far, I've got NBA Gambling Podcast.
Yeah.
Has a nice ring to it.
I mean, that's kind of right to the point.
Yeah.
We've got putting up numbers.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Layup lines, which we like, but there's the layup line. Podcast already out there. Drive and Dime. I made that one up myself, guys.
Okay, pretty solid.
So
How about just
clearly I need
corner
our
picks?
talented listeners to come up with
I got
a kick-ass name.
Jordan got his father killed. Is that a good podcast name?
That's a little long. I feel like it's a little long and dark.
Maybe too many words.
Is that even a conspiracy theory anymore?
No.
I feel like we've willed it into existence.
Isn't it great that Michael Jordan didn't come 15 years later because it never would have happened?
It would have never. He would have been out of the league. He'd be like Antonio Brown. He'd be back in Central Michigan taking classes, going back to school.
Oh, poor Antonio Brown.
No, he definitely cut his finger on the cigar cutter. That definitely happened. There was nothing else weird going on. So, yeah, it's going to be exciting. We're going to get a lot of the guys that you know from the blogging network getting on there.
Yeah,
talking
every
hoops.
week. I won't just have one guest. I'm going to do I'll do calls with a bunch of different guests. We'll do fantasy. We'll do gambling trends. We'll do players you want to pick up, DFS, everything you need.
I like
One-stop shop, NBA.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
The brand needs some NBA.
It does.
That's Sean. That's the brand going off in Sean's head.
Hey, man,
And,
I'm all about, you know me and content. Just love it, man. Just
Maybe
love
I'll have Sean call in with some pickup game updates.
Yeah,
how
I
he's
can-
been playing lately.
it was a rough I played on Saturday, rough Saturday because I was heavily intoxicated at the Comedy Garage and sweat out a tremendous amount of booze and it was rough. Did not put up the numbers I'm used to. Did not the green zone. That's my nickname in the rec league basketball. It's kind of sarcastic, but I got a decent mid-range jumper. The problem is I can't create my own shot, and I have to be wide open, and it's a 2-hour basketball window, and it takes me exactly an hour and 15 minutes to get warmed up, and then the defense to get tired, and then I can go off for 6 to 8 points a game. So,
do guys not want to guard you when you smell that bad because you're sweating out so much booze? Are they getting intoxicated? Just getting close to you?
It was rough, and I could tell my body as soon as we set out all the booze from the game. My body was like, "Oh my god, thank God, we never have to do that again." And I just looked at my body. I'm like, "You're so naive. You don't know what you're getting into tonight." I drank a lot. This weekend and gambled a lot, and it was awesome. Hashtag DGens only. Speaking of DGens, he is locking it down in Sin City, the host of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network's own Inside Vegas. He is Christian Pina. Pina, what's up, man?
You guys all know I hate basketball, but I think I got the name figured out. How about At the Line?
Ooh,
At the line. Look at that. Pina coming through.
Oh,
there you go. We thought we liked the layup lines, but because it had the line there. But you're right. I think you, Pina, you'll be getting some free SGP merch, assuming we end.
Just what he needs.
Or what?
well done, sir. Well done.
Great name, great start. How are things in Vegas? Walk us through your Sunday, because we're here in the gambling cave, Ryan's garage, where you got the 4 TV setup. Do you hang out at one place the entire Sunday, or do you move around? What's your move?
You know what, truthfully, man, I think that people would I think that my Mondays are maybe a little bit more interesting than my Sundays. Like Sundays, it's very most of the time, it's kind of at the house, at the home office, looking at the live lines as things pop up, and it's really more of a non-fun atmosphere. When it's a primetime game, you can kind of kick back, relax, go to a book and stuff like that. But normally, Saturdays and Sundays for me, man, I go back and forth with this. Do I have the fun? Do I try to treat this like a business more, and all that type of stuff? So for me, it's really that kind of issue in trying to rein this in and remember that as my first year basically straight in Vegas can attest to. It's one of those things you have to treat like a business and treat it every day. The biggest differences between baseball and football is football to me is almost easier because it's backloaded, right? So now that baseball's over, you have basically Monday through Friday, aside from action, aside from the primetime game, stuff like that when they come up, but it's really more backloaded. So the week becomes kind of your long weekend, and then the weekends is kind of nonstop. But I'm all over the place, man. For anyone that stops by in Vegas, I'm seeing, saying hi to somebody. Somebody's always at a book somewhere, so it's a little bit of running around saying hi while trying to actually, make a couple bucks during the day to survive,
There you go.
You can check him out at the White Castle on the Strip.
Oh my God, that was a pretty funny moment.
I'm a fat burger guy.
Oh, right.
Okay. Because that was a pretty hilarious moment when Kramer and I discovered the White Castle at 1 a.m. in the morning. We're like, why did they do this to us?
Yeah, of course I'm gonna stop.
Got a giant sack or whatever you call them.
We both have giant sacks, Sean.
Oh yeah.
After those dogs.
Long Cox.
Yeah, we will. We'll save for the NFL pod, but man,
someone threw out a 3.5 to 1 dog,
and I hit 2 bonus dogs. We both hit our locks.
We're not saving it.
Couldn't help but little tout out, but it was an awesome gambling weekend, and let's get to it. Let's talk some daily fantasy football, but before we do, time to give a shout out to our presenting sponsor on the podcast, MyBookie.ag, baby. They got those live lines that Peanut's talking about. They're trickling in. They're happening. Kicking myself, Ryan. You threw out KC -3 over at MyBookie live line. I should have done it. I just had a feeling they were going to win, but maybe not cover that 3 of the live line. Luckily they hit the mega whale parlay or tease of New England and Kansas City. Things got wonky in week 4, though. The dogs were barking. Felt like Joe Q Public got killed a little bit. But hey, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Week 5. If you got cleaned out, they got reload bonuses. Use that promo code SGP if you're a new deposit. 100% deposit bonus. Deposit with cryptocurrency, man. They always got the crypto deposit going. Blackjack always pays 3 to 2. found myself, a little downtime, stumbling over to the live blackjack, which I'm legally not allowed to recommend, but hashtag DGens only. MyBookie.ag, promo code SGP. Play, win, and get paid. We're going to try and do that today.
Spare time, huh?
Stumbled down to the live blackjack as if he stumbled down from his hotel room as his bedroom.
Oh!
Top in the living room.
What do we have here?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm listening.
The internet has blackjack, huh?
I'm working over here. I can't listen to this.
All I need is a
story you're
BTC
telling.
address. Okay, yeah, interesting.
You guys seen that screenshot meme about that? It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen, man. Somebody posted a text of there's this thread out there of why people can't pay bookies, and it's basically bookies screenshotting excuses.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody was like, hey, I logged into my account today and just saw I was down 500, but I only lost 200 last weekend. Do you know what's up with that? And he was like, hold on, you played blackjack for 4 hours. And he was like, oh, for real? That's not just for fun? I'm like, my last book, it was just for fun.
That is an all-timer.
I've had two separate occurrences where someone has told me, let's just say I can facilitate certain availability to certain services, and I've had two people who were had an arrangement basically tell me that someone who was borrowing their laptop managed to find their online betting site, log in, find the blackjack, and then proceed to play for hours.
Oh, man.
He didn't realize it was real. He thought it
I know
was
a
for
true
fun
story.
as well.
And so so listen, I always say I have gone, is why I always say only the game can teach you the game. I have done every mistake an up and coming gambler can have, man. When I was probably when just starting, maybe 18, 19 in Boston, it took me forever to build up this, $500-$600 bankroll betting sports, and I was so thrilled with it. I was like, oh man, kind of bored, don't really want to drive to Foxwoods in Boston tonight. It was a Saturday night. I'm like, I'm gonna make this a little party, man. Let's see what we can do on blackjack on this site. I lost $600 playing $10 blackjack on this site, and for no lie, probably 9 minutes, and I have never felt more defeated in my life.
My bookie has the live dealer option as well. That kind of weirded me out, but I just stayed to the icon graphic one.
Was yours also an attractive female?
No, it was a hairy guy. No, of course it's attractive woman.
I can't. I trust a man to deal me my blackjack card, Sean.
Well, when we were in Vegas, I'd never messed around with the virtual blackjack dealer. Because the one time we have a casino in my hometown now, it's kind of like that the movie The Rock. What's that?
Walking
Tall,
yeah.
where he's an old steel town. Then they put in a casino and it's taken over by crazy maniacs.
Yeah, some small white guy apparently feels like he.
Are you saying that you're The Rock in this situation?
Yes. I went away. I came back. All of a sudden,
totally
casino it's taken over our steel mill. We both played football for Freedom High School. That's another story. But
shit.
I was gonna try and play some virtual blackjack because they had some weird loophole before they allowed live table games, and I go and to deposit the money, and they're like, "Hello, would you like to play some blackjack?" And my wife is like, "I don't know, this is creeping me out." The robot dealer freaked her out. So I got to play in Vegas. I actually played at the virtual dealer because I had just $200 and we were waiting for my brother's friend or something.
You're waiting for me.
Oh, that's what it was.
I found you. I was like, why are you virtual? This is the one place you can play live table games, and you're choosing the computer.
I'm killing time. I put in 100 and I cashed out $350, just sitting at $10, waiting for.
Sean's leaving the strip club to go to a Thai massage parlor.
The personal experience. You can't beat it. All right, let's do this. Let's talk daily fantasy football. Rapid fire because we got 4 guys going. But kick things off, Pina. Who is your quarterback this week? How much you paying? What are you doing? Kick things off.
Yeah, I'm a streamer guy by heart, and I think that maybe public backs off of a guy like Winston this week, and so that was an attractive option, but I can't do it. Look, this is pretty simple to me. You got to go TFB 6,500. I get it's a road quarterback.
It's a baby fucking wheel, man.
Redskins, and let's not forget Brady. You know how I love to short the bad games, 4.7 points before that, while not having less than 23 in any week prior to that. This is a get right. I don't even want to call it a get right game, but that was Buffalo's Super Bowl of Super Bowls and still coming up short. So too easy to me. TFB 6,500.
Have they fired Jay Gruden yet?
No,
because I'm worried about the post-firing like big get-up game that the Redskins have.
I feel like they'll fire him after. They don't want the new coach coming in for the
you
worst
fire
game.
him, and then he's got the Patriots coming into town.
Sean, I want a different route.
What'd you do, Kramer?
I said, I tweeted this out. I'm going through this list of quarterbacks, and I'm like, holy shit, this is a gross week all around.
I don't know about
I
that.
had Andy Dalton penciled in for a hot second. Thank God I didn't let that ink dry. But and then I just said, you know what? Why am I messing around this week? Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins were not feeling it last week. That is, I'm sorry, that's just not going to happen again. I'm going to fade whatever voodoo the Panthers were able to roll out there. They're coming home, and they get the Falcons now. And the Falcons haven't shown they can stop anyone.
Yeah, they don't got much of a pass rush.
I'm going Deshaun Watson, 6,700. Haven't played him all year, but I
Did you see the video of him after the game? After the game, he was in the stadium hanging out with the QB coach, like walking through shit. Like he seems, and he did like the desk there in the press conference. He seems locked in.
I think that we may have seen like a 2-year low from output perspective from both those guys in that game yesterday. So I think big time regression. They
Bounce
have
back
great matchup. Watson 6,700.
McKee, what are you doing here for your quarterback?
Well, I'm got to go with Pina. I also have Tom Brady in there. He might be chalk this week because everybody goes through the same rationale. Like he never has back-to-back bad games.
Yeah, and then that Washington secondary.
Yeah, and the Redskins have given up the 5th most points to QBs this season. I mean, I've got Brady. I'm going to stack him.
There's definitely some onions opportunities this week. And honestly, you know who I almost played, Sean, because I know this Giants defense, and they're not great at stopping the pass. I considered Kirk Cousins, but it's a road game. He's you like that? He's in time. I mean, he's got to be in timeout.
He is in timeout. Adam Thielen looks like he wants to fight him. I tweeted out this stat. I forget where we got it from, but Kirk Cousins, 3 years, $84 million. Stephon Diggs, 5 years, $81 million. Thielen, 4 years, $64 million. Vikings, 31st in passing yards per game, 32nd in passing first down per game. Adam Thielen, he had that great quote. He goes, hey, man, at some point you got to be able to throw the ball downfield. You just got to throw the deep ball, and Kirk Cousins doesn't have that. I do think there's some value. We'll get to it later, but that Giants secondary has some holes, Kramer. I considered
go Chase Daniels. Do it. Do it.
No. I considered penciling in TFB, and I like that play certainly. But I knew by the time I got to pick a quarterback, TFB would already be covered.
Oh, stop it.
So I went for a man, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions only this season, no fumbles, unlike Danny Dimes. And that is Carson Wentz at home against the New York Jets, PFF's #1 quarterback, Carson Wentz. And he's only 6,100. I mean, similar price point to Kyler Murray on the road, Jameis Winston on the road, and Aaron Rodgers on the road. Little nugget about Aaron Rodgers. Right now, Minshew Mania, a.k.a. Gardner Minshew, has more fantasy points than Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, wow. What the fuck?
Didn't think I would live in a world where that would happen.
That air raid system.
Exactly.
Well, he knows how to properly rock a mustache, too.
Pina, who's your first running back?
Rare quarterback or running back stack here, and I get this Patriots backfield is frustrating people. You look up and down, right? Maybe Michel hasn't been what people thought he would be outside of the Miami game, where he got into the end zone, hasn't gone over 100 yards this season. But look, again, what I saw in that Buffalo game was Michel closing it the fuck out. And I think that in this Washington game, when you see a blowout, you need somebody to do that and run that clock out the same way you just saw New England do that against Buffalo. And maybe I'm a little biased because those last couple of drives helped me cash a Michel over 54.5 rushing yards ticket. But to me, look, when you have a situation that presents itself that it could be a blowout, you want both sides of it. You got to get there, and you got to get the garbage time, the closeout. Michel should find the end zone either early, but most likely later in this game. So Michel, 5,500.
Interesting. Definitely considered him. Kramer, what are you doing? RB1.
Beep, beep.
You're backing up the Brinks truck. You got the Lambos and the Escalade in the garage.
This one's only got half a paint job, and he was spotted laying down on the field, just perusing Facebook on his phone. Zeke Elliott. I mean, come on. This Packers team couldn't stop the run to save their life against a team.
That is a disgusting act.
Against a team that can't really they weren't exactly prolifically running the ball. So pay the compliment where the compliment is due. That was the concern in that game. It's the concern in this game.
But how about them boys? Seriously, first time they played a real team.
First time they played a real D-line. Real team.
That New Orleans Saints D-line is quietly kind of good, and that would be my only concern about like playing Jameis or some of these Bucs guys. Like I think that D-line at home, they can get loud, and I don't know if Tampa Bay will be able to adjust to like not being able to hear the snap count. But yeah, Zeke, I get the Zeke play. I think it's disgusting, but McKee, what are you doing here? Who's your first running back?
I mean, I don't mean to copy Pina first and then Ryan, but I do also have Zeke in my lineup. I saw how Jordan Howard ran all over that.
That was the power running style that they seem to just can't
hot
deal
take. Zeke is slightly better than Jordan Howard.
Yeah. That's what I feel like. So.
We'll wait to see.
How can you not play Zeke after seeing Jordan Howard do whatever the fuck he wants?
Packers are coming off long rest. I'll say that. And just putting it out there.
You don't even have an and.
No, I don't. That would be my only.
The and is that it's a Cowboy.
Exactly. And I don't play Cowboys because my dad listens to the podcast. Now, you know who I do play? Teams and players that are going up against the New York Giants. Give me Dalvin Cook. You want to talk about a guy who had a down game against a stout run defense of the Chicago Bears. There's a simple formula for Minnesota victories, and that is don't let Kirk Cousins throw the ball. The more pass attempts they have, the lower their win percentage goes down. It's not something you want to think about if you're a Vikings fan. Shout out to Kyle, our Vikings fan listener, who just hates any time Kirk Cousins comes up because he knows he sucks. But you'll eventually find a quarterback. He's not Kirk Cousins. But Dalvin Cook, he's had a great season. They just keep feeding him the rock. They couldn't get it going against Chicago, partly because they couldn't get the passing game going. I think they're going to have more opportunities against the Giants. But again, you're coming off a slightly down game and a guy that is due to get a tremendous amount of volume. Give me Dalvin Cook at 8,400. Pina, who's your second running back?
I absolutely hate this week for running backs for the record, but I don't know how this should be an autoplay pretty much in everyone's lineup when you look at Gallman Jr. here. I don't even care about what he got on the ground, despite the fact he almost hit 20 attempts. You look at through the air, man, 6 receptions on 7 targets for 55 yards. How many times do we sit here and talk about you have to kind of take this discount, take the name out of it, take whatever, whoever they're facing out of it, and what do new quarterbacks like to do? Who is their best friend? It's tight ends and it's check down to wide receivers. We saw this with Haskins and Thompson. It's the same thing. I hate running backs this week. I was going to play Henry. I was going to play Mixon. The prices are just too gross when you talk about a guy with upside potential of, 18 attempts and 6 receptions. So that's, 24 touches. Yes, please, at 5,400, Wayne Gallman.
The Wayne train. Ryan's birthday buddy. Kramer, what are you doing for your RB2?
No, I mean, it didn't affect the price, but I was a little bummed out to see Connor have a pretty nice day. Because I slotted him in before he had the nice day, figuring this guy's eventually going to pop off. They have the young quarterback now. They have to figure out a way for them to just lean on Connor. Final numbers tonight, not looking at the 10 carries for 42 yards, looking at the 8 targets, 8 receptions. In a game they
did
won
like a crazy screen.
Yards,
But this also, just that target number, this isn't a game that they were leading most of that. So I still think there's more to be had. They have Baltimore on deck. Baltimore is sure as shit not going to let the rookie quarterback beat them. So I expect to see a lot of the same stuff, a lot of dump-offs. Connor has a lot of targets again, 62. His price also seems – I mean, I know he's not scoring, but, I mean, based on where his price was $1,000 more than this a couple weeks back. So I feel like it's come down too much. Give me Mr. Connor.
I like it. McKee, what are you doing here?
Sorry, it came down 1,100. There you go.
Oh, wow.
Well, guess who gets to be the James Conner this Sunday? Playing the Bengals. I'm going with David Johnson.
There you go.
7,500. You can run all over this Bengals team. And another thing is you can pass to the running back. And DJ, not a bad pass catcher out of the backfield.
Looked
and
good
Kyler
last
Murray really needs some help. He's been running for his life. If they can just keep dumping it off to DJ, all day, baby.
He had some. I mean, he's getting those ridiculous target numbers as well.
I'm gonna for my second running back. I kind of went a little contrarian there with Pina. I do like the Pats for obvious reasons against the Redskins, but I'm gonna go James White. I love the PPR targets. I think he's gonna be involved in the passing game. Yeah, I just think to me James White is kind of the safer bet. I get why you would go Michelle as well, but I'm gonna go James White. A little off the book there. Pete, am I crazy for playing James White?
Yes.
No, man. I look back at it, or I look to play him too. And again, as I said, I absolutely hate this this running back slate. I mean, you're gonna get nothing on the ground, but look through this. I mean, 8 receptions on 10 targets last week against a Buffalo team, and maybe that was game plan, stacking the box. But this again, in a blowout game with a huge spread, I'm sure you're just taking kind of the opposite view of me, where I'm taking the back end of what I anticipate to be a blowout. You're taking the view that you're taking the points to get there, if that makes sense.
Sean likes the front more than the back.
Is there any way that White could still be in the doghouse for missing a game
for
to
having
watch
a
his
baby
be born?
That would be.
That
would be. What do they call that? Like you can't be. Listen,
it's a hostile workplace.
Hostile workplace. Belichick would never allow that.
Oh, I'm sure.
He supports male paternity leave like no other coach in history.
Shout out to Brady for planning his children in the offseason every single time, by the way. He never even
because he's an
sniffed
alien and can do that.
No one doubts how much Tom Brady loves his children. Pina, who is your...
Because he makes out with them, Sean.
He's sucking their youth from them through their lips. That's how he's able to stay so
He needs to get
relevant.
the child's... He's going to get the blood spun in Germany.
Is that South Park when he's like sucking the babies?
I think it's Christopher Reeve, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Whatever.
All right, where are we?
Pina, who's your first receiver?
I think Kramer touched on this. I don't have the opposite stack, of course, but Hopkins at 7,800 against this Atlanta team. I don't know how you don't. And again, same thing, just different. I don't know how you don't love buying Hopkins off pretty much one of the worst games, since this combination's come into the league. So Hopkins at home against this pitiful Atlanta secondary, 7,800.
Can I call an audible?
Yeah.
Since our guest here and new host of the unnamed basketball show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network.
Everyone's very excited
at the
about
line,
this
early
person.
leader though. That was a great name.
I'm gonna switch to David Johnson. I was looking at it earlier.
Wow.
And your argument set me over the top. So if I fuck up my millionaire maker lineup because I took Connor out, it's all your fault. I do like the matchup, especially on the road. For my first receiver, Sean, I'm stacking Watson with Mr. Hopkins because fuck you. The guy got -2 for an interception this past week. What the fuck? What happened? What happened in that game? It didn't even flash on Red Zone. We barely saw. I haven't watched the shortcut yet.
It was very off the radar.
But just reading my normal like text version of what happened, it seems like this is like you said.
Every game.
He's going to get 15 targets in this game. Like 100%, they're going after him early and often, 7,800. Pay what you got to pay.
That line still worries me. Even though they got Tunsil, I don't know. I think Deshaun Watson needs to be criticized somewhat for his style of play, but they need to figure out. I mean, Bill O'Brien,
he's going
to figure out a way to just have this guy not get the shit kicked out of him.
Fucking Panthers.
McKee, who's your first receiver?
Well, I am going to stack Tom Brady with good old Josh Gordon at 6,100.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, you cannot go wrong against this Washington secondary. I feel like Gordon hasn't had his big breakout game yet this season. It's coming. Brady's going to want to get him going. And also, is Edelman still banged up? He
certainly didn't look 100%.
No, he did not. So
I mean, those are some heavy balls, Sean. They crushed his
Brady.
chest.
Brady really knocked him around. For my first
Josh
receiver,
Gordon all the way.
I'm taking a man. He's kind of hasn't really gone off, possibly because they haven't had their starting quarterback for a couple games here. Coming off a solid target game, not insane numbers by his standards. Michael Thomas, below 7,000. He's 6,600. He's at home. The Saints team didn't score a touchdown. Now you got the Tampa Bay Bucks coming into town. I mean, you saw what the Rams did. I think this Bucks defense, they're interesting because their D-line is quietly playing out of their mind, but also they're still letting up a ton of passing yards and passing touchdowns. So I think Michael Thomas at home in the Dome, 6,600, feels like a little value here. Pina, what are you doing for your second receiver?
Look, man, I really wanted to. I don't know who the second option in Dallas is here, who kind of plays out of the slot. I know Adams kind of moves around on this. But when I look at this man again, buying guys off bad weeks, and maybe he does play some in the slot. I don't really know if it even matters here with Amari Cooper at 6,800. We just saw everything that happened in that Green Bay game where people were largely this Green Bay defense. You know how high I am on them. But at some point, you got to just keep buying low on these guys. And I don't know that they can really – I don't know if they have the speed to make up for the lack of size with big body guys like this. I think guys like Evans will give them trouble, guys like Cooper. And it certainly helps that in what looked like a beautiful plus matchup for a guy like Cooper got shut down last week. And as you go through it, the touchdowns really have kind of bailed him out. You look through his game log, right? 25.6, 14.4, 26.8. And then doesn't get that touchdown. You look down and you see 9.8. So maybe he is touchdown dependent, but he gets in the end zone, man. And so, God bless him. I am apparently on the Dak train right now, and that is $6,800 for it.
Pun intended, I'm sure, because that, of course, is Rain Dakota Prescott's favorite band. Gets him pumped up for every game.
Drop Jesus.
Drops
of Jupiter.
Who admits to a journalist that? Yeah, you know what juices me up? Drops of Jupiter.
Because his name is Rain.
Rain loves when drops fall.
Anything with drops.
Kramer, what's your receiver? Second receiver.
My second. I mean, I kind of wanted to make a late change after you threw it out. But yeah, Michael Thomas for 6,600
made a compelling case, didn't I?
No, you just look at the targets.
Yeah.
Okay, 13, 7, 9 last week. So it's not like Bridgewater isn't looking his direction.
He had 9 for 95, caught every one of his targets. They didn't score a touchdown. That's not going to happen again at home against Tampa Bay.
Also, I think Tampa has been having some success just shutting down running backs. They shut down Barkley. They shut down McCaffrey. I think they're going to look to shut down Kamara. So for that reason, I know
I struggle with the deep ball.
I love how the crew, the broadcast crew was like, look at how smart Sean Payton is. He knows that Teddy Bridgewater can't throw the ball down the field, so he's only calling short pass. It's like, okay. I do feel like this will end at some point. I don't think it ends against the Tampa Bay Bucks, and I think we've seen it against a number of teams now. There are completions to be had against this secondary. So
well, and you watch that. The Bucks-Rams game, which you threw out there, Ryan. Bucks plus 360, which cashed.
Easy money.
Jared Goff had some guys deep that were open. He just wasn't getting the ball there. Now, maybe Bridgewater gets those passes completed, or even mid-range stuff. There's going to be opportunities against this Bucks defense. McKee, who is your second receiver?
Okay, so since I went big with my running backs, spent a lot of money, I don't have a lot of money for my second and third wide receivers. I am Sean. Who can you pass all over? What team, maybe that you are a fan of, it has a lot of trouble
Daddy
giving up points to wide receivers.
We just signed Orlando Scandrick. Red flag right there.
I am going with Ryan Anderson. I know that the Jets have not done anything. They've not got him going. They're coming off of bye week, though. They've got to be scheming something.
Aren't you worried about Avonte Maddox? He has feeling in all of his legs and arms. Are you worried about?
Whoa!
He's got feeling in all of his extremities. Watch out for our defense.
Is Sam Darnold playing?
No,
Sam Darnold's not playing, but I don't think that really matters.
There will be passing opportunities against this Eagles defense. You did mention Sam Darnold, so I will have to mention a quote because I've been following the Sam Darnold story to just see if he's going to be starting this week. Quote, "It's out of my control. My spleen at this point is going to do what it's going to do."
What does that even mean?
I don't know. It just sounds like his spleen's a free
Spleens
spirit.
do what they doing.
It's the spleen might, it's probably going to end up backpacking in Europe with Andrew Luck hanging out at the youth hostel. Who knows? It's the spleen, man. He can't tie it down. He doesn't know if it's going to be around for Sunday. So you like Robbie Anderson?
Like Robbie Anderson.
I always love Robbie.
I said Ryan Anderson earlier, didn't I? I meant Robbie Anderson.
Robbie Anderson's great. Just
He's
Google
an all-timer.
Google that story about him getting arrested and what he said to the cop and what he said he was going to do to the cop's wife.
Kellen Winslow-esque, let's put it that way.
Oh my God! I think he just got sentenced for.
He never had the courage to tell a cop he was going to face fuck his wife.
No, quote, nut in her eye.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's much classier actually.
But Antonio Brown gets cut for jerking off on a girl's back, but that's fine.
So wait, help me understand this real quick. He was farting on chicks too.
Yeah, that was
his doctor.
Yeah, that was his doctor. It was like Peyton Manning showing his asshole to some
still one of the low
doctor
key
at University of Tennessee.
I wish we had the sound drop from Finding Neverland right now about how Michael Jackson liked to look.
Yeah, see now
those are the sound drops that we need.
Yeah,
Finding Neverland.
We need to pull that, and let's move on.
Moving on to you got a franchise quarterback like Carson Wentz. You're going to need someone to stack with him. Unfortunately, it looks like Deshaun Jackson, the soft guy that he is. I remember I got into it with him at the Staples Center, and it's a whole nother story. But now he's on the Eagles. We're cool, but he's not. It doesn't sound like he's going to play through this ab strain. Feels a little soft to me. Regardless, I'm going with my boy Alshon Jeffrey, $5,900, and he's a guy. He's going to get you some touchdowns. He's got 2 touchdowns in the 3 games he's played.
2 Eagles, huh?
Yeah, that's how it works, Ryan. You stack winners, okay? We give out winners and we stack winners.
How many points do you get if the team wins?
0. But Alshon Jeffrey's going to get a decent number of targets. The Jets actually have a decent safety in Jamal Williams, and I think he could slow things down a little bit for the tight ends. I think Alshon Jeffrey is the guy that's going to be the leading target.
Okay.
Pina, and $5,900 for a team that's favored by 14 points, and you're getting the receiver 1 at $5,900. Just do the math. Kramer or Pina, who's your third receiver?
I interest you in a guy who got 10 targets last week, put up no stats, but is only $4,900. You talked about. I couldn't have set this segue up any better, Sean. You want to talk about stacking winners? I need a stack for my man TFB. What's the cheapest option?
Ooh.
10 target Phillip Dorsett.
Yes.
Look, Edelman beat up the chest, the hand. What is it? Look, I saw that game, and again, pretty big square teaser here from your boy on Pats and KC that I had to sweat down to the wire on pretty much both sides.
Yeah.
I saw Edelman drop balls that I've never seen him drop. Something is not right with him. And look, I get it. 2 receptions for 10 yards. Disgusting. Why would you play that? Look at the targets. 9 targets. This is, second year in the system for former first-round pick coming into his own. I don't care what the numbers say. And normally, I'm the opposite guy of this, right? I say, show me it. I'm not going to bet on positive regression, but this is the one stat where I say this is similar to Michael Thomas, that it's so much of a cheaper price point, $3K less. So Dorsett at $4,900.
Stealing. Kramer, who's your third?
Listen, you go out to the strip club, you come home, the lady's pissed off for a couple days until finally she gives in, allows sex to happen. It gets a little rough, and then everything's cool, right? Like, that's normal. That's all that Edelman's doing right now. He's just a little upset that Antonio Brown was welcomed into Tom Brady's home. Edelman's never seen Tom Brady's kitchen before. Edelman's never been offered a spot to live with the great Tom Brady. That's all.
He only wishes he knew what was in that pool house.
That's all this is. For my third wide receiver, Sean, Kyle Allen, has Cam Newton finished transition? If you've not seen that YouTube video of him wearing that black neck scarf with a cigar and a wine glass with a long stem, which we not hashtag not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yes.
this man's not playing football anytime soon, right? He's
Doesn't
not yet
seem-
transitioned to Liz Frank. Apparently, it's a couple weeks more.
Doesn't seem super interested in playing.
Okay, so since he's been out, Curtis Samuel seems to be the favorite target of one. Well, outside of Christian McCaffrey, of course, seems to be the favorite target of one Kyle Allen, receiving 7 targets both last week and this week in the road spots. Now they come home. Do we think Ramsey will play? Is his back / baby mama /
I just read somebody that they turned down 2 first-round picks for him this week.
Well, I think that was from the Chiefs because there was part of it was like part of the reason they turned it down was the team was, quote, too good. And that seems like they don't want to send him to an AFC team. They want to send him to his new home, the Philadelphia. Give him a first and a second. Give him 2 firsts. Whatever it takes to get that guy in. We can't draft cornerbacks to save our fucking lives. You need a guy like Ramsey. McKee, who's your third receiver? Who's rounding out for you?
Well, I'm going with a guy who's a similar price point of Samuel. I consider Samuel, but I am going with Cole Beasley. I am going with Cole Beasley. He's gotten you 14 points the last 2 weeks.
Fuck. He has. So
I almost
targets.
had trouble saying it. I couldn't believe I was going to do it. That's why it came out like that. But it looks like they're going to have Matt Barkley throwing balls. That means there's no way they are going downfield to John Brown. They're only going to be short passes. Beasley, hey, who doesn't love throwing short passes to Cole Beasley? Matt Barkley.
There's science here, too, because we all know the poor lowest ever recorded K-metric score with Josh Allen, which coincidentally only allows him to see like straight down the field in the middle because his eyes are so close together. So now that Matt Barkley's here, we saw the way he was engaging Cole Beasley in the quick out routes and things like that. So I love the logic, just explaining some further science behind the pick.
Thank you. I didn't even know that. And
Hashtag,
you didn't think there'd be any science here.
Sean, I was very worried about the K metric, Josh Allen 3-0, but things I think are regressing quickly.
Regressing indeed. All right, for my third receiver, I'm on Penis side here. Philip Dorsett. He's got to be the fastest Pats receiver, 4.3 speed. Those Redskins receivers are the defensive backs. I mean, you saw it with Deshaun Jackson. He just toasted them. I think Brady's wants to get his swag back, get a little mojo back. I could see the deep ball to Philip Dorsett happening a couple times against this Washington Redskins defense. Pina, before we talk about your tight end, we're going to talk about another one of our sponsors, the great Amazon. That's right. You want to support the podcast? Hey, maybe you already got a gambling option. You don't like live blackjack. You don't like deposit bonuses. You don't like being able to deposit and withdraw cryptocurrency, but you still want to help the podcast. Sean, what can I do? Rate, review, share on iTunes. But more importantly, sportsgamblingpodcast.com, the Amazon link. Hit it. Bookmark that thing. Anytime you use Amazon, just use that. You're supporting the podcast. You don't use Amazon? What are you, a communist? This is capitalism at its finest. I just ordered a bunch of paper towels, toilet paper. We got our sweet smelling salts all off Amazon. Any product you want to be able to buy, you can get it over at Amazon. So just bookmark that link. Support the podcast today. Pina, what do you got going on? Who's your tight end? I feel like we may all have the same tight end.
No.
I don't think so, because this one is absolutely disgusting. And look, if you notice with me, there's one theme that trend betting.
What's that? You like disgusting tight ends? Sorry, I had to step on you there.
Yeah. When you break that mold to me, it kind of shows me your matchup proof and the unders on tight ends against the Saints. I believe, I'm sure someone out there in Twitter is going to show me that I'm wrong somewhere, but basically in the last 3 years, they haven't allowed over 50 yards to a tight end. And when that number got kind of skewed down to about 40 for was like 90% of the time, like they are incredible at unders when it comes to tight end props. And when I see a guy like Jason fucking Witten go out there and put up 4 for 50 at a price point that's pretty cheap, I don't know how he's doing this. 50 yards, 54 yards, 25, and I get the first week was 15 against the Giants, touchdowns in the first 2. You're talking about a tight end 1 at a price point that is $3,800. take the name out of it. This is, Green Bay, Dallas. It's always these gritty ones. It's always tight ends. It usually reminds me of the Redskin and Dallas games, truthfully, when it comes to these two teams. In a get-right spot for Dak. I feel like it's a disgusting act to have Cooper and Witten, but you're getting basically the 1 and 2, even though I do think that Smith has some potential. Dak can't seem to find him at a price point that's pretty incredible. You're looking at a guy putting up 10 points, gets in the end zone for you. You're looking at 15 for, he gets, 60 yards in this and a touchdown. You're looking at 12 at that price point. I don't know how Witten has turned back the clock coming off the couch in the broadcast booth to put up 4 for 50 virtually every single week. You guys know how I love my consistency with upside with Mr. Robert Woods at 6 for 66. Witten's the same thing, just as so much less of a price point. So Witten 38.
He's motivated. He knows he can't find a job after he's done playing. So, because he was pretty awesome in the booth and all.
Maybe a high school football coach.
Definitely. In
Strength
Texas,
and
are you kidding
conditioning
me?
coach.
He just looks so.
Kudos to Kramer for finding the photo of, what was it, John Gruden's brother or younger brother?
Oh man, yeah. So we were making jokes, watching some games in the lab this Sunday, and yeah, we were like, oh, it's funny because Jay Gruden's going to be the next strength and conditioning coach in Oakland, and then it turns out there is a strength and conditioning coach in Oakland, and it's, what was his name?
Oh, hold on, let me find it.
It's like Butch Gruden, and it's something better than that.
Oh my God.
Anyway, he looks like a human version of one of those like kickboxing human punching dummies. Anyway, at Gambling Podcast at Twitter.
Deuce
Gruden.
And he's
Deuce
got
Gruden.
his head, the haircut is the same, the chin is the same.
He modeled his look after the punching dummy. I'm being very kind when I say this.
You got to go
anyway.
to Instagram Sports Gambling Podcast and see the
You
photo.
know,
It's
I have
amazing.
been ramping up the social media, Sean, and we should probably give ourselves a shout out.
Wow.
I noticed today, and I even took a screenshot for you because I know you like this kind of stuff. I'm sure you threw it up on Instagram. 10,000 followers, Sean.
Wow.
Does the confetti come down now? No, must be broken.
The Lambos, they're pulling up into the garage.
Boop,
Tw-
boop.
Twitter sends you Lambos when you hit 10,000.
Yeah, it's like that George Clooney movie. That old dude's gonna talk to us, say something nice. All right, tight ends. It's time for me to talk about a tight end, and I only talk about nice, well-kept, good-looking tight ends who are facing the Arizona Cardinals. They've given up 6 touchdowns to tight ends this year. 6. I almost, because I don't have a ton of money left, Sean, I almost just played both Cincinnati tight ends with Usama and Eifert, but
Yep.
I didn't. They're giving up so many points to the tight end. It's insane. So you got Tyler Eifert, 3,300. I told you while you were sitting on my couch this past Sunday, Sean, you just got to play the Arizona
You
tight
got
end.
to.
Yeah, I
McKee.
mean, I've watched every minute, every sad minute of the Arizona Cardinals this season, and I've watched the tight ends torch them. I hate to do it, but I also have to play Eifert. at
Oh my
3,300.
God.
I mean, yeah.
See, that's what I was saying when I thought there was a chance we would all have the same tight end, because I also have
Yeah.
Tyler Eifert for only $3,300. Pina, what are you doing in the flex spot here?
Yeah, look, I think I forget if it was Kramer or Sean that had him. Curtis Samuel. He touched on this. We're looking at. I'm not going to put the same points on him just because he's in a different position here, but 7 targets. How long? How often do we say there was a reason that who was the kid on the Jets that locked on to Robbie Anderson when he was there? I think he was out of Baylor, maybe. Oh my God, it's going to drive me nuts. Whenever he was in quarterback in the Jets, he went for like 100+ yards with Anderson. But backups play with backups. Not that Samuel is a backup; he's highly touted. But I think that the practice reps kind of tell the situation as well when it comes to Newton, kind of going from Funchess to Benjamin and Samuel kind of coming in late. I think that there's some legit rapport there. So Samuel 4,500.
Bryce Petty is the quarterback
go.
you're talking about.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Kramer, what are you doing for your flex spot there?
So I got to ask you guys. So I have options here. Not a lot of money, but we're playing we're just gonna go with a 2 tight end lineup. And
Running that 12 formation.
I like that. The Giants are running a lot of that. I'm seeing the upside. It's great. It's good stuff. Winning team. So I'm looking here at the teams doing the worst against the tight end. What do I see? Tampa Bay Bucks. They've given up 30 catches for 365 yards and 2 touchdowns against the tight end. Now, could be a product of who they played, but the Rams, not a team that goes after the tight end. I saw a lot of Everett involvement in that game. I saw some Higbee involvement in that game. So my question for you guys is, do I attack that matchup, or do I look at the third worst team, the Oakland Raiders, who've given up 3 touchdowns on 18 catches for 277 yards?
What's Trey Burton going for?
Well,
is he out of your price?
No, I can go Trey Burton, or because I don't know if he's done much. I could also go Adam Shaheen. I'm kind of leading Jared Cook here because I watched. How often do you watch the Rams and you watch them attacking the tight end position? So I know it's odd for me to take 2 of the Butler's targets, but I've seen now. How many points have the Bucs given up this year? I know that Jameis is throwing some to the other team, but we've seen them get shredded by some passing attacks.
Oh yeah, and again, that Rams team left points on the board. Jared Goff sucks island. There's no vacancy. Stop calling me.
Yeah, seriously.
We're booked up into 2021.
Can't you read the Airbnb site? It says no vacancy.
No vacancy.
It sounds like confirmation. I'm going Jared Cook, playing the dual tight end.
Yeah, I like that. I wouldn't. Yeah, that makes sense.
Dick Olson would not be happy. I'm playing the more expensive tight end in the flex spot.
McKee.
All right. Well, I know that the Saints have a strong defensive line. I should be a little scared about this play. However, 4,600. This is a pure Peyton Barber sucks play, and I'm going with Ronald Jones the second. I remember. As a Cardinals fan, I remember when Bruce Arians was there and we had a young David Johnson, and he wouldn't play him for the first couple of weeks just because
can't trust
Arians
you, kid.
is old and can't
Drink
trust
some paint.
young guys.
You got to earn your spot.
But Jones has shown in the last 2 weeks that he is just a more dynamic running back. So
I like
see
that.
him. I
Sean,
can see him being primed for a big game.
How many times have you've watched football with me every Sunday? How many times have you heard me say,
You've been
how
adamant.
can they possibly think Peyton Barber is better than this kid?
You've been adamant.
It's insane, and I almost found I will be playing him, and I will say after Jeff Swaim, tight end for Big Dick Nick, that's not working out, having 100% share of him in my best ball leagues, I got a lot of Ronald Jones. So really hoping this works out.
I have a lot of Ronald Jones in my best ball.
You watch Peyton Barber run the ball and he looks like Ron Dane tripping over the line of scrimmage. Then you see this kid flash, and it just makes you wonder, like, how dumb is he? Like, what is he so dumb to not understand about football? He's a running back. Like, just get the ball and go. So I love the pick. Absolutely love the pick.
McKee is in the building, and I felt like I had to throw an Arizona Cardinal. And why not? College graduate himself from the Phoenix School of Business. It only took him 8 years, but he made his mom proud. Got that degree in TV, VCR repair, whatever it was.
His dead mother.
Oh,
proud.
yeah.
Oh, boy.
He honored her wishes by getting his associates in TV, VCR repair. Class act. Good dude. Larry Fitzgerald. He's been he just passed what is he, like, 5th now in all-time receptions?
Second.
That's crazy.
But that's the thing. Like, that
It didn't
record.
get enough press.
Yeah, that record barely got a fart. Like, nobody gives a shit.
And
That's because he's so far away from number one. Like,
That's
Jerry
true.
Rice's record
And
is
it's because
insane.
he's on the Cardinals.
Jerry Rice played in a time where, like, dudes weren't racking up receiving yards. Like, that's the craziest part
You
about
imagine
Jerry
Rice playing now?
No.
Fucking insane. But Larry Fitzgerald, he's had 36 targets this season, 23 catches, 2 touchdowns. He's coming off a kind of quiet game for his decent season so far. Only 5 targets, 47 yards. There's going to be opportunities against the Cincinnati defense. I mean, you saw what they did with James Conner, the kind of like quick screen plays, that kind of stuff. I could see some wide receiver screens. And again, I think when Kyler gets in trouble, he just throws it to Fitz. And I think Fitz could have a big game. So,
Just
yeah.
Real quick, he passed Tony Gonzalez on the receptions list, which he's now 223 behind Jerry Rice.
Jesus.
Way closer than the 6,316 yards he's behind him in receiving yards. So,
Wow.
Sean, quick trivia. Number 3 on the receiving list. Who is it?
Jeez.
Pina, you can throw it out there if you know.
Number 3.
On the receptions?
No, on the receiving yards list.
Yards.
Oh, yardage.
Randy Moss.
Randy Moss is 4.
Oh, that would have been my guess. Randy Moss.
That's my quarterback.
T.O.,
It's
baby.
number 3.
Oh, shit.
That's crazy, right?
You don't think of him because he just bounced around so
Yeah,
much,
yeah.
but he really put up insane numbers.
You just think of the
out.
crazy stories.
Yeah.
You don't think of his actual
I just
production.
think of him, doing crunches in his driveway. Pina, close things out strong. Who is your defense this week?
Guys, until this defense sets record-breaking numbers here, and I look at for anyone new here, I'm normally not this much of a homer here, but you're looking at our defense that put up 25 last week, 11, 37, and 10. People need to start this. I think it was Josh Jackson. I have never seen from a stop somebody jump. Like, people can quantify the combine and the high jump and all that stuff, and largely the 40-yard dash, everything. And usually I just don't care. I have never seen a defensive back kind of stop to jump higher to pick off that ball from Josh Allen. And I know there was I think it was maybe Collinsworth was talking about how, or I think it was Gene Parator talking about how, well, at some point the ball was touching the receiver out of bounds. Like, no, that was one of the most freakish plays just from a pure athletic standpoint I've ever seen. And I don't know that I've seen a more athletic secondary in football, truthfully, when you talk about Gilmore to the season McCourty's having to a guy like Josh Jackson making those type of plays against Dwayne Haskins and Case Keenum. Yeah, they're on the road. Yeah, they should be $5,000. This is a bargain. Patriots 4,300.
Sean, I'm just going to keep recycling this joke, but after the Redskins win this week, they're going to be, after the Patriots win this week, they're going to be undefeated. And a lowly Giants team's going to stroll into town.
No
and
one
probably
believes in them.
They might even be 12.5-point underdogs.
What was the last time that happened, Ryan?
In 2008, when Eli and the boys defeated the 18-0 best team ever, New England Patriots. Yeah, no, their defense is really good this year.
Did you select their defense?
No, I didn't select their defense. I had 1,900 left. I didn't have options, Sean. I had the defense that was given to me, and that's the Washington Redskins.
Oh, wow.
Here's the deal.
How many negative points can you get?
Can you not start a defense? That should be an option.
I tried to scrap some money out to get the Steelers, because I do think now that we're seeing more teams face Lamar Jackson for a second time, awfully intriguing. Also, this Pittsburgh defense might just be pretty good.
A Browns fan on Twitter giddily pointed that out because he was chirping at me for giving Baker Mayfield grief. And he said, also, good point that that we missed when we were handicapping the game, that this was the second time the Browns had saw Lamar Jackson in the same way that the Chargers saw him for a second time.
Also, becoming one of my more fun games during watching the Browns, when you flip a coin before each play and say good Baker, bad Baker. Like, every time the red zone would pop over, it was like, oh, did he do something good or bad? Because, man, if only Odell had a real quarterback.
He does. It's Odell Beckham. That's his dream, is to be able to throw passes to himself.
Anyway, Washington at home. They're gonna. I saw Brady take some hits. He's rattled. Edelman's giving him the cold shoulder. I don't know. I have no reason. I had 1,900.
You're just talking bullshit right now. I immediately, I'm with Pina. I slated in the Patriots right away. The best defense one of the best defenses in the league right now, maybe with the Bears, and they're going against the Redskins with Case Keenum, who I don't know will be in the XFL next year.
Do we even know? Is it Haskins or Keenum?
And then, or it's the not ready for primetime Haskins. So, give me Patriots. That's just free points all day.
But Gettleman should have taken Haskins, right? They should have taken Haskins. You stupid idiots took that Daniel Jones guy.
All right, we're 2 games into Daniel Jones.
2-0, baby. 2-0. Sit the fuck down, boy. You're tied. You're tied in the standings right now.
We are tied.
Giants are 1 back of the Cowboys.
Look out. Look out, world.
I got a 20-1 ticket in my pocket. I've been slowly stashing $25.
Prop swap today, because I've been doing a little day trading there in the Cy Young market for myself. And let me tell you, Ryan, you are sitting pretty. I think I saw basically a 1.3 to 1 ticket sitting out there for like $20K. So you're doing pretty well, kid.
Dude, I have no bullshit. I've been slowly buying $25 at a time. The Giants at like 15-1, 20-1, 25-1 to win the division, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
To win a division. They're one game back, and they may have the best quarterback in the division.
Oh my God! Now you're just being you're an animal, right?
I guess we'll see who's still playing on the field by the time the Eagles and Giants play. I don't know. Carson Wentz doesn't typically play in those games from week 14 on.
He's got a good record against the Giants, right?
The Giants before the moment happened. Before Daniel Jones was released.
He didn't look amazing against the Redskins. I will point that out. Vikings are going to be a tough test.
Oh man!
If he beats the Vikings, then I will say
he can't do worse than Eli. I think Eli has like career 5 pick sixes against the Vikings. It's just
they really owned him, even in New York, or actually especially in New York. For my defense, I had exactly $3,800, and that was perfect because $3,800 allows me to purchase the Chicago Bears. The defense is back, and they're facing the Raiders in London. A revenge game for Khalil Mack against John Gruden on that ugly turf. What is there not to like about the Bears? The Bears defense just looks back, and I think they're just they're going to turn the Raiders over. They're going to beat the shit out of them. I think there's some pick six potential. There's some defensive score potential. Give me the Chicago Bears for $3,800 to close it out. Okay, good times. You want to hit on any waiver wire stuff you want to throw out? First off, our boy Topher Squints, he's pumping out these waiver wire columns. Make sure you check that out.
What's my? Do I have a limit?
What's the limit Giordani, a.k.a. Topher Squints. Well, here, I'll throw you out what he has, Ryan, and feel free to add. A.J. Brown came out of nowhere, 2 touchdowns.
Did not come out of nowhere.
Only on
he's been
10%.
looking good all season, though.
I was more in the Corey Davis camp. I think you have to just jump ship, light Corey Davis on fire. I think he made the article, but I'm a little worried. A.J. Brown looks like an absolute freak. He's a large man. He's a strong man, and he was out running dude. So on the off chance that Mariota figures out how to throw a football consistently for a couple games, he may be an interesting option.
Cortland Sutton, Ryan, a man who in our
I'll get my heartstrings.
In our SGP listener league that you insisted starting MVS Valdez Scantling over Cortland Sutton. It didn't cost us the victory, but I was against it because they were going up against the Eagles.
You know how management conversations over the fantasy team go with Sean? No responses. No responses. So it was game day. It was Eagles game day. I was locked in. Yeah. In fact, in my in a different season-long fantasy league, I started Nelson Aguilar over Devontae Adams in what was one of my biggest homer moves of all time. Devontae Adams, I think, had 35 points. Nelson Aguilar, a straight 0. And I still won by 40. Greatest, called my shot of all time.
Next from the sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Amazon banner, all right? Well, you got to get his head on straight.
I got to get some medicine over there. Pina, who's a couple waiver wire guys you like?
You stole him. Look, A.J. Brown, the big one. That dude is a baller, man. Look, Cortland Sutton, I said you're tugging at my heartstrings. I think that if anybody in anyone's league didn't pick up Gallman, you just saw he is just as involved in, dare I say, Saquon replaceable #system. But the last one I would throw out there is Cole Beasley. I don't know why, I don't know how, but the guy's relevant. And I guess lastly, DJ Chark in Jacksonville. But that's about all I got for you guys.
Yeah, don't look now. I guess if you're real desperate and you're playing in super deep leagues like I do, Ricky Seals-Jones, he had a sighting.
1% owned.
He had a sighting, caught a touchdown. I don't know if he did much more than
Former Arizona Cardinal.
Yeah, wasn't good enough for that team.
Crazy athletic. He just can never seem to get it figured out. But who knows? Maybe
those guys. I want to talk to a guy like that. Like, how did you not figure out football? Lots of really dumb people play football.
It's almost exclusively played by dumb people.
Maybe that greatest coach of all, Freddie Kitchens, finally got him all sorted out. So Ricky Seals-Jones.
Is this the week that Herndon comes off suspension for the Jets?
Although I looked I couldn't even find him on DraftKings. I was actually thinking of starting him.
Was he? Oh, maybe he's not back then. Is he back?
I think he's back.
A lot of who else is worth hitting on here? Oh, Minshew, #Minshew Mania. He's kind of.
Are you streaming him this week?
I would consider him. Yeah.
Who do they have?
Carolina. It's kind of an interesting.
This is a weird week for. I mean, I think I'm going to play more than my normal slate of DFS lineups, just because there's all these really cheap, intriguing quarterback options.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to play.
There's a lot of like low ceiling low ceiling, high, or I don't know, high ceiling, low.
You
floor.
want the ceiling to be high and the floor to be low for these. I like Chase. I'm playing a Chase Daniels lineup because I firmly believe now you can rip up my Bears under and Bears to miss the playoff because Trubisky's out of the way. Right, he's out.
You're
How many
all in
games?
on Chase Daniel.
He's an upgrade.
They're saying 3 to 6 weeks, but
he's an upgrade.
It's going to be more than 6.
He's an upgrade.
Yeah, they're gonna figure out how to not bring Trubisky back.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, not a lot of like. I don't think. I mean, McKee touched on Ronald Jones. If he's still available,
definitely grab him.
If you're not in a league with me and he's still available, go get him.
Geronimo Allison only 24% owned.
Yeah, I held on to him in my in the FFPC leagues. I held on to him. I still think there's going to be. I still think Aaron Rodgers is going to flip the switch. But God, this offense is dreadful.
It is.
It's like watching a Giants team just like run, pass, punt. It's like, dude, you have Aaron Rodgers. Fucking sling the rock.
Sling it. All right, and hey, shout out to.
It's a baby fucking wheel, man.
The original baby whale, Boston Capper. He is now doing a DFS pivot post weekly.
Is he following us on Twitter now?
Yeah, there was some weird thing where it got unfollowed. He claims it was a technical error.
He gets,
but I kind of had to blow him up.
Yeah, he is on. He's on the website. I will say I had to edit out some of his some very slanderous things thrown around.
So we talked about this.
Yeah.
The only feedback I gave him was less fucks.
There you go.
Yeah. Let me tell you how many fucks I cut out, and there is still way too many fucks. So.
We gotta give it a name like Capper's Corner or something like that.
All right.
But yeah, good times. Check that out. He does
pivot.
He gets all when he gets all excited, he starts getting amped up. But it's a fun look because it's like towards the end of the week, the injury stuff's already happened, ownership stuff's starting to trickle out, and kind of some against the grain type plays that are worth
no
checking
offense,
out.
Pino, you're not a chowderhead, just Boston Capper.
And look, man, I will die for whatever team brings me money. It just happens to also coincide with New England Patriots covering spreads. So hey,
there you go. The professional answer himself. Make sure to check out Christian Pina, host of Inside Vegas on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. And make sure you check out Ryan Blog Boy McKee, a.k.a. Roundball Ryan.
It's Bloggy Boy.
Bloggy Boy.
Did I say Chase Daniel earlier for the quarterback? For
Yes,
the Bears?
you've mentioned that a number of times.
Yeah.
Host of At the Line, potentially. Still up for grabs. If you can beat it, send in a name, and you'll win some free merch if we end up going for that. For the Sports Gambling Podcast and the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, I'm Sean, stacking the money green, and he is Ryan.
Sadly, I would like to invite all of our listeners to tune in to the College Picks show tomorrow, where there will be a funeral.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
Kramer, let it ride.